I remember the exact moment I realized rich people teach their kids about money completely differently than everyone else. I was at a barbecue, right, and I overheard this millionaire, self-made guy, built his wealth from scratch, explaining something to his 12-year-old daughter. He pulled out his phone, showed her some numbers, and said 6 words that honestly changed how I think about everything. Every $1,000 has a job. That's it. That was the whole lesson. But the way he explained it, the way she nodded like she actually got it, I knew there was something deeper here. So I did what any curious person would do. I started asking questions, talked to wealthy parents, financial advisors, people who grew up in money. And what I found was this pattern, this framework that keeps showing up, the $1,000 rule. Now, before you think this is some complicated wealth strategy that only applies if you're already loaded, let me stop you right there. This works if you've got $1,000 or 100,000. The principle stays the same. And honestly, if you can wrap your head around this concept, you're already ahead of 90% of people when it comes to building real wealth. So what is the $1,000 rule? Simple, every $1,000 you have should be assigned a specific purpose before you even think about spending it. Not a vague purpose like savings or future stuff. A real defined job. And here's the key: once that money has its job, it doesn't get reassigned unless something major changes in your life. Think about it like this. Most people look at their bank account and see one big number, $5,000, 10,000, whatever. And that number feels like this pool of money they can dip into whenever. Need new shoes, dip into the pool. Want to order takeout 3 times this week, pool. Unexpected car repair, pool. And slowly that pool shrinks without them really understanding where it went. Wealthy people don't see a pool, they see battalions. Every $1,000 is a soldier with a specific mission. And those soldiers don't abandon their posts just because you got bored or saw something shiny online. Let me break down how this actually works in practice. Say you've got $5,000 saved up. Here's how someone applying the $1,000 rule would think about it. First 1,000, emergency fund. That's your life happens money. Car breaks down, medical bill pops up, whatever. This 1,000 sits there looking boring, and that's exactly the point. It's insurance. It's peace of mind. It doesn't invest. It doesn't grow. It just protects you from the chaos of life so you don't have to put emergencies on a credit card. Second 1,000, that's your opportunity fund. This is maybe the most important one and the one most people completely miss. This money exists to take advantage of things when they show up. Could be a course that'll boost your career. Could be investing in a friend's business. Could be buying something you need when it goes on sale. Rich people always have opportunity money sitting ready because opportunities don't wait for your next paycheck. Third 1,000, now we're investing. This goes into something that grows. Index funds, dividend stocks, whatever fits your risk tolerance. But this 1,000 has one job: multiply itself over time. You're not touching it. You're not borrowing from it. It's working for you now. Fourth 1,000, skill development and income growth. This might sound weird, but stay with me. This 1,000 is designated for anything that increases your earning power. Professional development, certifications, networking events, even a better computer if you freelance. This money is an investment in your ability to make more money. Fifth 1,000, now maybe this one's for something you actually want. A vacation fund, a new gadget, whatever brings you joy. But notice where it falls in the priority list. Fifth. After protection, after opportunity, after growth, after development. Then and only then do we get to the fun stuff. And here's what's brilliant about this framework. When that unexpected expense pops up, you're not stressed because you know exactly which 1,000 handles it. When an opportunity appears, you're not scrambling or putting it on credit because opportunity 1,000 is sitting there ready. When you want to buy something, you check if your wants 1,000 can cover it. If it can't, you wait. This is what that millionaire was teaching his daughter. Money isn't just money, it's a tool with specific functions. And the sooner you learn to assign those functions, the sooner you stop feeling like money controls you. But let's talk about what happens when you don't do this. Because I lived this way for years, and maybe you're living it right now. You get paid, money hits your account, you feel momentarily rich. You know you should save some, so you move a chunk into savings and feel responsible. Good job, you, then life happens. You need new work clothes. That's an investment in your career, right? So you take from savings. Then your friend's birthday comes up and you can't be cheap, so savings takes another hit. Then you see this course on sale that could help your side hustle and it's 50% off, but only for 2 days, so boom, more money from savings. And suddenly it's the end of the month and your savings account that had $3,000 now has $1,200 and you're not even sure where it went. You feel like you're failing at this whole money thing. But here's the truth, you're not failing. You just never gave your money clear instructions. This is why the $1,000 rule is so powerful. It removes the negotiation you have with yourself every time you want to spend money. That negotiation is exhausting, and you'll lose it eventually because discipline is a limited resource. But rules you can follow. When wealthy parents teach this to their kids, they're not just teaching money management. They're teaching decision-making frameworks. They're teaching that resources are finite and every choice has an opportunity cost. They're teaching delayed gratification, but in a way that doesn't feel like punishment. Because here's something I noticed. When you use the $1,000 rule, saving money stops feeling like deprivation. You're not giving up that nice dinner out. You're just recognizing that your wants, 1,000 is allocated for something else you decided was more important. You made that call when you assigned the jobs. Now you're just following your own plan, and the psychological shift this creates is massive. You stop feeling guilty about spending money on things you planned for. That vacation you saved for in your designated fun 1,000, enjoy it fully. No guilt, that's what that money's job was, but randomly dropping $300 on stuff you didn't plan for. Now there's friction, good friction, the kind that makes you pause and think. Let me tell you about my friend because his story really illustrates this. Makes decent money, nothing crazy, maybe $70,000 a year, but he was always broke, always stressed about money, could never figure out where it went. I told him about the $1,000 rule and honestly he was skeptical, thought it sounded too simple to actually work. But he tried it, took his savings, divided it by thousands, assigned jobs, emergency, opportunity, investment, development, fun, 5,000s, 5 jobs. First month, nothing dramatic happened. He followed his plan mostly, had a moment where he almost took from his opportunity fund to buy concert tickets but stopped himself. Decided the tickets weren't actually an opportunity, just something he wanted, and his fund was already allocated to something else. Second month, his car needed new tires. Normally this would stress him out, maybe put it on a credit card, but his emergency 1,000 had this covered. Paid cash, no stress, no guilt. That's literally what that money was sitting there for. Third month, his company announced they'd pay for any employee who wanted to get a specific certification that could lead to a promotion. His coworkers were hemming and hawing about whether they could afford the study materials and exam fees. His development 1,000 handled it immediately, got certified, got the promotion 6 months later. $5,000 salary bump because he had money sitting ready for exactly this kind of opportunity. 1 year in, had more money than he'd ever had, not because he made dramatically more, though the promotion helped, but because his money had clear jobs and he stopped unconsciously leaking cash on things that didn't align with his priorities. That's the thing about this rule. It doesn't just change your bank account, it changes how you think. You start seeing money as a tool you control instead of this mysterious force that appears and disappears. Now let's talk about scaling this up, because the rule doesn't stop at $5,000. You can apply this at any level. Got 10,000, now you've got 10 soldiers with 10 jobs. Maybe you add thousands for specific goals, house down payment, new car fund, kids education, whatever matters to you. Got 50,000, now you're really playing the game. You've got emergency money, opportunity money, multiple investment accounts with different purposes, development funds, fund money, and you're starting to build real wealth because every dollar knows what it's supposed to be doing. And here's where it gets really interesting. Once you hit around 20 or 30,000 following this system, something shifts. You start to feel wealthy even if you're not rich, because wealth isn't really about the total number. It's about options and security. When you've got thousands assigned to different purposes, life stops feeling so precarious. Car breaks down, emergency 1,000 number 2 handles it. Job opportunity requires moving expenses. Opportunity funds got you. Market crashes and stocks are on sale. Your investment thousands can take advantage. You're not reacting to life anymore. You're responding from a position of strength. Wealthy people teach their kids this early because they understand something most people learn way too late. Money is simple. We make it complicated with our emotions and our lack of systems. But at its core, money is just a resource that needs organization. Think about it like your closet. If you just throw all your clothes in there randomly, getting dressed becomes this stressful daily negotiation. Where's that shirt? Do I have clean pants? Why is everything wrinkled? But if you organize your closet, work clothes here, casual there, shoes in one spot, accessories in another, getting dressed becomes automatic. You know where everything is, you know what you have, no stress. The $1,000 rule organizes your financial closet. And just like an organized closet makes getting dressed easier, organized money makes financial decisions easier. but here's where people usually mess this up. They try to be too granular. They create 20 different categories with complicated percentages, and it becomes this whole thing they can't maintain. The beauty of the $1,000 rule is its simplicity. Thousands are big enough to matter, but small enough to track. You're not micromanaging every dollar. You're managing thousands, which is way more sustainable. Another mistake, not adjusting as life changes. The jobs your thousands have should evolve. When I was in my 20s, I had way more thousands assigned to opportunity and development because I was building. Now I've got more assigned to investment and security. That's normal. The framework stays the same, but the allocation shifts based on your life stage and goals. And speaking of goals, this rule makes goal setting so much clearer. Want to buy a house? You need $20,000 for a down payment. Cool. That's 20,000s with one collective job. You know exactly what you need. You can see progress in concrete chunks. Saved 5,000s toward the house. You're 25% there. Way more motivating than staring at an abstract savings number. Let me share something that might blow your mind. I talked to this financial advisor who works exclusively with wealthy families. She told me that the number one thing separating her clients from everyone else isn't income. It's not even investment strategy. It's systems. Her wealthy clients all have systems for their money, and some version of the $1,000 rule shows up in almost every system, because here's what systems do. They remove decisions from moments of weakness. You don't decide whether to save or spend in the moment when you really want to buy something. You decided weeks ago when you assigned jobs to your money. Now you're just following the plan, and that's so much easier than relying on willpower. This is also why wealthy people can seem so disciplined with money. It's not superhuman willpower, it's systems doing the heavy lifting. The discipline happened once when they set up the system. After that, it's just maintenance. Now I want to address something. Maybe you're thinking, this sounds great, but I don't have thousands to allocate. I've got like $800 total. Fair, start there. The rule scales down too. You've got 800, that's almost 1,000. Give it one job, maybe that's emergency money. Get to 1,000, then build the next 1,000, then the next. The power isn't in having lots of thousands. The power is in the thinking. Once you start thinking in terms of money having jobs, having purposes, you'll find money you didn't know you had. That subscription you forgot about, that's $50 a month toward your next 1,000. That habit of ordering lunch when you could pack it, that's another 100 a month. You're not depriving yourself. You're redirecting resources toward things that matter more. And the beautiful thing, kids get this instinctively. They understand jobs and purposes. That millionaire teaching his 12-year-old. She probably absorbed this lesson better than most adults would because kids haven't yet developed all the complicated emotional relationships with money that mess us up. They haven't learned to use spending as therapy or shopping as entertainment. They just see money as a tool, which is exactly what it is. So here's what I want you to do. Don't overcomplicate this. Look at whatever money you have right now. Divide it by thousands, rounding up if needed. Then assign each 1,000 a job. Emergency, opportunity, investment, development, fun. Some version of those 5. Write it down. Physically write it somewhere you'll see it. Then here's the key. For the next 30 days, before you spend any money beyond your basic bills, check which 1,000 it should come from. Going out to dinner. That's fun 1,000, taking a course, development 1,000, unexpected expense, emergency 1,000. And if the relevant 1,000 isn't available, you wait or you reassess your priorities. That's it. That's the whole thing. 30 days of this and I promise you'll see money differently. You'll start to feel more in control. Less anxious, more purposeful with your spending. Because ultimately, the $1,000 rule isn't about restriction. It's about intention. It's about making sure your money is working as hard as you did to earn it. And that's what wealthy people understand that most people miss. Money isn't the goal. Money is the tool, and tools work better when you know exactly what you're using them for. So yeah, every $1,000 has a job. Figure out what those jobs are for your thousands, and then let them do their work. Because I guarantee the richest person you know has some version of this system running in the background of their financial life. Maybe they don't call it the $1,000 rule. Maybe they have fancy software or a team of advisors, but the principle is there. Clear purpose, defined allocation. Disciplined execution. You can do this starting today with whatever you've got. And 5 years from now, you'll look back and realize this was the shift. This was when you stopped letting money happen to you and started happening to money. What's your first 1,000 going to do? Let me know in the comments because I'm genuinely curious how you're thinking about applying this.